Hi, I'm Josanne Wright Callender. Let me get my sound together. The author of several books. The one that we're talking about today is Making Do Growing Up Colored in the Jim Crow South During the Great Depression. I said Josanne Wright Callender, made several books myself. Tuskegee Tales is the second one. The first one is The Happy Little Garbage Truck, which I'm so happy that I started my career with the book because it was a book that I wrote with my mother, who is loosely the character that she's the character of Making Do is loosely based on her and my dad. And I said that I'm happy that I started with that book because we got to work together. And it's wonderful when you are an adult and you get to see your mom who nurtured you, cleaned your bottle, your diaper, plaited your hair when you're like little kid. I remember sitting, on the floor and her just trying to get my hair ready for school. And then to be an adult to actually share professional passion with her because she loved stories. She was the first storyteller that I ever met. And her stories were so vivid that I even went to the bookmobile near our house and asked for the book that she had told us by title. And the librarian said, I don't remember that. I'll have to look that up. When I got home, my mother said, I made that story up. It's not in a book. So, I grew up loving stories, took many writing classes, screenwriting classes, and finally, and I'm still a teacher, an educator. But when I ran into a snag and looked for a particular book for a student, it was my mom who came in and said, well, let's write it. And writing it together with her was so much fun. So this story is taking the love that we've had as a family and incorporating it into the characters Dee Dee Douglas and Charles Stevens. And I said in my little writer's notes that faith is the one thing that I realized in working with my mother and father and living with them and with them being my parents was the one thing that brought them through this time of the Jim Crow South into another layer or a plateau of how to be a person, a true person, authentic to their faith in God and to themselves, despite the ugliness that was going on in the Jim Crow period, which is filled with horrible. It was like wartime in the South, and people were being lynched and just killed, and you didn't know if you'd make it home, if you had to walk on a deserted road by yourself. It was just a time of a lot of fear and well founded. But I said in this interview that it was also a time of faith because African Americans, Black Americans had to draw on their faith in order to get through this period with some semblance of self. And my mother and father were two examples of that. They were so strong in their faith that I, to this day, wondered how in the world, and I know it's only by the grace of God and them knowing that the Lord indwelled in their souls and they could get through anything with his help. So when I answered this question in the radio interview that I did, I didn't delve deeply into the faith and the religious background, but I did say that that was what got all of the Blacks through this period of time, this in the best manner. They came out the other side, even with even stronger faith. Not saying it was the only thing that people relied on, but it was the one thing that brought people to a stronger sense of self. And the one thing that I thought about in talking with a friend recently was how could anyone going through that time be forgiving of how they were treated? And that was my parents. And so I think in some ways, probably most ways, it was them being able to forgive the people around them that treated them in that way. And, just saying, well, they're a product of their environment. That's how they were taught. You have to be taught to hate or to have racist thoughts or to be prejudiced, That's a given. And so I think my parents were just very forgiving. And in that, they were healed of any of the horrible things that they could have had in their heart, bitterness, distrust. Every single person they met as an adult, me thinking back, whatever race this person was or color, they treated them as an equal, as a human being, as an equal, a child of God. And that's what gives me an understanding that they were forgiving people and they moved on. And I think that's what I hang on to in my life. And I'm using them as my model. So thank you for listening. And there's a special discount on the book, Making Do Growing Up Colored in the Jim Crow South. It's available on Amazon, and I just keep checking the prices because I run specials. And today it was $9.18. That is a huge discount. But if you go on the website, our publishing company, Matt Joe International, we're offering it for $15 for an autographed copy. So you got two wonderful ways of doing some great summer reading. So please subscribe, please share, and we'll talk later. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Thought I said goodbye, but another screen popped up. Sorry. Take care. Bye bye.